Namaskar. I'm Kumar Rakesh, and you are watching Global Governance News TV. Today, we are going to discuss about the Ukraine, how the status of Ukraine, how the people are living there, and what the condition, how the terror, how just in which condition they are just living in the tense area of Ukraine. So, before going there, just with the special guest, Mr. Pranav Kumar, he's engineering student from Ukraine living in Kyiv. So then, before I'll give you the status updates, Russian-Ukraine news, how the this is going on today. So I think this is a Spanish fashion retailer Mango temporarily closes shops in Russia. Spain fashion retailer Mango said that Thursday, today, it was temporarily closing its shops and its online sale of site in Russia when it is monitoring with sadness and concern the situation in Ukraine. Mango has finally made the decision to temporarily cease operations in Russia, closing its own shop and its own online platform and is stopping the shipment of new goods to the country. At least 22 civilians killed in Russian strike on northern city and Chernihiv 20 and on Russian bombardment of residential area in the northern city of Chernihiv. Ukrainian official says they fear the number of casualties could rise as risk surge the debris of more bodies. Zelensky, the Ukraine president, says if Ukraine falls, Baltic states next. Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky called on the West on Thursday today to increase military aid to Ukraine, saying Russia would advance on the rest of Europe otherwise. If you do not have the uh, power to close the skies, then give me planes. Zelensky said at a press conference today. If we are no more than, God forbid, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia will be the next, he said, adding, believe me. Putin was uncompromising fight in Ukraine war into second week. Russian President Vladimir Putin vowed to no let up in the invasion of Ukraine on Thursday and today, even as the warring sides made of the ceasefire talks and they keep demanded safe passage for deceased civilians. After the fall of first major Ukrainian city to Russian forces, Putin appeared to no mood to heed a global clamored for hostilities to end as the war entered the second week. And India's at 49th UN Human Rights Council session, we urge immediate cessation of violence and an end to hostilities. No solution can ever arrive at the cost of human lives. Dialogues and diplomacy are only solution for the settling differences and disputes. India at 49th, India, that is Bharat at 49th UN Human Rights Council session. We are deeply concerned over the safety and security of thousands of Indians stranded in Ukraine. We are working together with the neighboring states for their evacuation. We call for the respect and protection of human rights of people in Ukraine, India. India has already dispatched humanitarian assistance in Ukraine, including medicines, medical equipment, and other relief material, but not the arms, as the European Union and NATO countries and the USA is trying to send the Ukraine the arms. So we can understand the role of India just for the promote the peace, humanity and prosperity for Ukrainian and for the world. So we are sending more assistance in the coming days at our government of India and Modi government claimed. And this is urgent necessity that must be addressed. India Bharat at 49th UN Human Rights Council session. Arctic Council countries halt meetings over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Arctic countries like Canada, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, and the United States said that they would not travel to Russia for meetings and were pausing participate in all council meetings following Russia invasion of Ukraine, according to joint statement issued by the U.S. State Department. 9 days after the Russian forces strike Ukrainian city Chernihiv, says governor. 9 people died and 4 were injured that Russian forces hit residential areas, including schools in the northern Ukrainian city of the Chernihiv, the local governor said. But this is totally against the old line and the thoughts by the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Just he was already claimed and issued a statement: no any just residential area will be bombarded and no any harm to be the civilian of the Ukraine. and Wall Street opened higher while prices at Richard recede. Canada slabs 35% tariffs on Russia. Belarus imports. Talks between Russia and Ukraine representative underway. The second round of talks going on, and just simultaneously you see the attacks and bombarding also going on. I think how is possible not? We should just always condemn any war of any area, any part of the world. This is my personal opinion also. As an Bharati also, I will promote the peace, prosperity, and Vasudev Kutumbakam just for all people of the globe. If medical education policies were right earlier, then you might not have a trouble abroad. PM Narendra Modi, that is by Modi to students who return from Ukraine. So this is I think a very very good sign that they'll promote the more medical education facilities in Bharat. Western countries sending mercenaries to Ukraine, as Russia claimed, and Indian embassy not shut in Kiev, fully functional. Our Ministry of External Affairs claimed. PM aiming to shine whole of Ukraine aid to Macron, and just Mr. Macron of the French premier said something will be not good for Ukraine. Something Russia is just trying to make in the mind for the big attack. So this is all the latest update on the Russian and Ukraine front. We have Mr. PRANAV Kumar, promising engineering strength from Ukraine, Kyiv, the live. So Pranav, how just you think and how just you see the all status of Ukraine and how the life is there? How just you analyze and visualize?
Well, to start off, Ukraine is defending itself quite well, very, very well. It's defending itself against Russia because our army, even though it is strong, it is able to defend us very well. No city has been occupied by Russia yet. Even though maybe in some news it can be said that Russia has occupied something, nothing has been occupied. Everything is still under control of Ukraine. We are trying to protect all the citizens of all cities, but sadly, that is not being able to be controlled because Russia is still bombarding all the cities, even though promising that it would not do anything. In cities like Kharkov, where it is being bombed daily and big bombs are being exploded in the city center, there are a lot of casualties. Kiev, the center of Kiev, for now, it is quite safe and sound. Yes, sometimes there are bombs coming in, but they aren't as massive and aren't as big as in other cities. Yes.
So just how you think that you are the safe and no any bombing, just you are always heard the siren about just for alertness, and how just the feeling how the your people living in Ukraine and
Well,
Kiev, how just life is
everyone,
there.
everyone, of course, is scared. Everyone, during every single siren where there's an airstrike, everyone is running into the bunkers to protect themselves. People who are living in the outskirts of Kiev are staying at home. They don't usually leave their house; they stay at home. In some outskirts of Kiev, it is more. There's more noise. There's more shooting, but in some, it's much more calmer. In the place where we are at right now, it is much more calmer, and
Yeah.
people aren't too afraid in Kiev. Who are in Kiev, they aren't too afraid.
So as a just youth and just you are Indian student, how just you feel just relation between Ukraine and Russia? Why it happened? Why?
Why it
Who is
happened?
responsible? Ukraine or Russia, and both are responsible for this war.
We don't know because Russia always has said that we are their brothers, and doing this to a brother is not correct. This is not, we never even thought that Russia would do this. That they would this. They're calling it an They are saying it was some kind of military exploitation, but it's a pure invasion on Ukraine. And firstly, saying that we are brothers and then attacking a brother, that is just not correct. No one expected this. No one to this
Okay,
level.
but
No one.
yeah, you are right. Nobody would expected the brother will attack brother, but this is a really I think internal matter of the family, one family when the Ukraine was part of USSR. And just
Yes.
how just you analyze just the role of Russia towards Ukraine, and I think do you think this is Ukraine has been the sandwich between the big wigs just like UK and USA and NATO, and they should also just promote the peace, not the war.
Yes.
What
Yes.
they are
Yes.
doing, the role of America and role of NATO, and role of European Union. How just you
Well, everyone is talking too much but doing very little. We do not want war in the country. We don't want weapons to be delivered to our country. We want to find common language. So we're asking the US, NATO, all the countries of the world to find some kind of common language with Russia so that this war stops. Because no one needs this. We are just, if Russia does do something to us, the next countries are Europe. Any country in Europe can be attacked. If we were attacked, they can attack any country. That is why the whole world should unite and go against. And we should find some kind of common language to stop all of this.
So just you are saying just no one wants war. Really, no one should like the war and always advocate the peace. And how the Russian great writer Lev Tolstoy write the War and Peace, the very interesting novel I have read. And so I think they should follow the old culture of Russia, USSR. They always promote the peace. But nowadays, why? Just to think, why Mr. Putin doing like that? And what for? What will he gain? Just for only the inhibitions? Just for his, I think, nature and adamant nature?
If we talk about what Putin will gain conquering Ukraine, he will gain nothing. Because the Ukrainian patriotism is there and people will die. And then when Ukraine will be taken over, there will be nothing. It will be just flat land. That is how strong we are. And we won't surrender at all. All the Ukrainians who are staying here and who are fighting for our country, they will die here. There is no reason for him to take us over.
Okay. So just we have connected Mr. Vandana Jhingundi from USA. I think she is a senior journalist living in Chicago. So Vandana ji, we have Mr. PM Kumar, the engineering friend from the Kyiv, and just we were discussing about how the status and the condition of Ukraine and how just they are feeling now. So I was just asking question. Just you can also join and just ask some question, whatever they feel and whatever the repercussion, the main. I was trying to. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so very much. Welcome on board, Pranav. We are very honored that you are. So, are you back home safe?
Yes. I was here the whole time since everything started. I was here in Kyiv.
Oh, okay. So, where are you right now?
In Kyiv, in the outskirts of Kyiv.
Okay, great. So, let's hear from you about what is the current situation that on the ground, because I'm not going to buy any of the media statements from right or from the left, because then there are so many speculations in today's time, because everyone is a news reporter. Let's call it that way. Somebody holds a phone and there are so many fake newses which are around the world in the globe.
Yes, that is true. If we talk about Kyiv, there are bombings happening certain times of the day. For example, today there were 2 bombs, there were 2 explosions. At night there were a couple of explosions. Every day there are usually 1 or 2 explosions minimum in Kyiv. If we talk about other cities, Kharkiv is being bombed drastically. Bombs are going into the city center where people are living. There are a lot of casualties there. Other cities are also being attacked, of course. But let's say that Russia has not occupied any city in Kiev. Everything is under control by the Ukrainian military. Nothing. We have not surrendered. In the news, they are spreading fake news where Zelensky might be surrendering. Nothing of that. Of course, there are a lot of casualties. Cities are being destroyed. Mariupol was being bombed very badly. Whenever there's if we talk about Kyiv in general, when there's sirens, everyone's running into bunkers right away. Everyone's scared. In the other cities, there are a lot of volunteers who are helping the military. And secondly, the Ukrainian forces, they're very strong, not in weapons, but in their heart to protect our country. And they're going to stand there until they're going to die. That's how strong Ukrainians are, and the Ukrainian military. Even people who have never held a gun are out there in Kyiv right now protecting the city. That is how strong we are. And we are going to continue defending ourselves.
That's very good to have a nationalistic feeling to protect your nation.
Yes.
But when we're talking about so much of collateral damage which is happening, so what is the gut of a Ukrainian, if I ask you, you being a Ukrainian yourself? So
what is my feelings like? What do I feel about Ukraine?
Yeah.
It's that, of course, it's very terrible that this has happened and that we're like our country is being destroyed for nothing by a brother, by someone who is calling us just a brother. That's completely unexpected and incorrect. But we have nothing to do. We cannot surrender, and we have to protect our country. There is no other third choice we have. We have to protect, and people who are a lot of people have left already. They have left to Lviv, to some other cities, and a lot of people have left to other countries outside of Ukraine. But everyone who is here in Ukraine, they're going to stay here in Ukraine no matter what.
Okay. Just time the break, and after break, and then we'll meet again. Just Pranav, continue with us. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome the break. And just Vandana ji, just asking some question with you and how just you're feeling now. Number one, number two, just today, whatever second round of talks is going on between at the Belarus border from the Russian and Ukraine officials just to stop this war. One. And second way, on the other hand, Russian President Putin just want to invade the Ukraine. As you said, all the natives and the Ukrainian nationals are so adamant and so nationalistic nature. So they'll not down. They will just not surrender at any way. So what are the options? How the just options you think, and what options to take? Number two, and how this the circumstances are there you have been facing now.
Well, if we talk about the talk they're having, the Ukrainian government with the Russian government, honestly, I do not think they will come to any conclusion because
Wow.
from what Putin is telling Ukraine to do, to surrender and just to give our country out, the Ukrainian government will not do that in any case. And that is not only my opinion. Around 80% of Ukrainians know that what Vladimir Putin is going to give us, what he wants from us, we will not say yes to that. And I am more than sure. This is just I don't know, but I don't want. It's just to pretend that they want to solve something, but they're not going to give up. Russia, they started and they will continue doing this, but we will show them that it was their mistake to do this for invading us. We will show them that.
So, what you people expect from the India, that is Bharat, from the Prime Minister, what they are doing now, and they are sending all humanitarian support as well, medicines and all support, not sending the arms to fight.
From India, we are not asking you to be pro-Ukrainian, but we are asking not only India, but for all countries to talk to Vladimir Putin and to find some kind of common language. We are not asking for India to solve this whole war, but we are trying to have everyone speak to him and to understand his point of view so that we can solve this as fast as possible. Because in Ukraine, there are Indians in Ukraine. A lot of Indian students who have been in Kiev, they've already left to, if they have left to other cities. I'm not sure what cities they have left to, but our government has made special train stations for them to leave so they would get to the border faster. And we understand this. And there's not only Indians here in our country. We have different people from all around the country who are stuck here and who need to leave. We are asking for every single country who has their people in Ukraine for them to help us and to talk and to find some kind of common language. We are not asking to solve the war, but just to have some kind of talk and common language so that this can be solved overall from everyone. Because we are doing what we can. We are trying our best to protect ourselves, to save ourselves, and to not surrender. Like Ukrainian, it's not only that Russians are dying. Ukrainian regular people who are not even at war, they are just dying because of bombs from Russia. And we are suffering a lot, and we are just asking for help, just for talking. Nothing else is needed from us. Just talk so that we can solve this verbally, not by killing each other. That is not needed. That is the last stage.
That's the point, Pranav. But I think you must aware, the Bharatiya, just the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the first leader, global leader. Just talk to Mr. Putin, and as well your president also, Ukraine President Mr. Zelensky, just for the peace. just to promote the peace and just also to
Yes.
safer for our Indian nationals who are living there. So how just you think the Indian national Indian students, Bharatiya students are living there? What is the status now? Do you have any information?
The Indians, I know that they've been evacuated out of Kiev. Almost all of them have been evacuated out of Kiev. As I said, our government has been helping for them to reach the border and to come closer to the border, because we are trying our best to evacuate anyone who needs help, and if needed, we will help them as much as possible. I'm not sure to what cities they have left, but I know that they have left Kiev and they are more safer now in other cities than they would be in Kiev. That is the only thing I can guarantee, that they're more safer outside of Kiev right now.
Vandana,
I'm going to ask you one thing now. When we talk about, how and why it started. So, because the Russia never wanted Ukraine to join NATO, we all know that, right? Because
Yes.
that has been an agreement, but that was not a written agreement that they had it with each other, correct?
Yes.
So, what is the inclination of the present government, the President Zelensky, towards more towards the westernward leaning? Because because there is one perspective that Russia is trying to protect, like you are trying to come on the head. So what is your call, and what the common, because when it is a damage, a collateral damage, that doesn't see your national flag, that doesn't see your passport, which country passport that you are holding, because a bomb doesn't recognize your caste, your color, your creed, or your nationality.
Uh, can you state the exact question again, just so I can understand it? I just didn't understand it.
Sure, I'm going to repeat that again. I said how and why it started.
How
Like,
and why it started?
yeah. So because
Okay.
this is the Russia has been giving that Ukraine should not be joining the NATO, means like, so
Yes. Yes.
inclination, and because I am sitting right now in United States of America and our own president, because they say we'll support you, because all the support which they are getting only the arms and ammunition, not the support that on the ground. So
Yes.
ultimately, if we are seeing the damage has been done more to the people, those who are on the ground. Let this be the soldiers in the uniform from Ukraine, from Russia, a common civil person, and the citizens of Ukraine, as well as, because the collateral damage does not see what your nationality, what your flag, and what your passport is.
Yes. If we start off from saying where it all started, um, how can I say this correctly? Russia's attack from their side, or how they were explaining why they did this, it was because their Russians were under attack from our side, that we were doing something harmful to them, and they're there to protect their Russians from us. If we take into account that this was said, cities like, for example, Kharkov is the city where most Russians are living in, and Russia is attacking the city where they're all Russians. I don't see any logical explanation for this. Of course, Ukraine has always wanted to join NATO, or has always wanted to join, and this we it was just our goal. It was just our goal for so many years, and uh, I think maybe it's that Russia is using us as like a middleman with for like war with US. That's what some people have in their mind, is that Russia is also against the US, but they're using us as like a middleman to attack us and then to continue. And having stated that we are protecting our Russians from Ukrainians, and then at the same time attacking cities in Ukraine where Russians are located, that is just unlogical. That is just unlogical. And having it done so quickly, and how it has been just drastically, the casualties have been increasing daily, starting from day one. Even the Afghanistani war, within 4 or 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, they had around 13,000 people dead. In Ukraine, within 7 days, 7 or 8 days, there have been 9,000 soldiers killed in Russia. Right out, 9,000 Russian soldiers killed. That is just so you understand. Within 7 days, we have the Russians have 9,000 dead, and that is and I'm not talking about our casualties as well. That is how uncorrect and how over the line they went with this. Just in my opinion, this is just completely incorrect. And this was not supposed to. This war was not supposed to be created because of what Putin is saying. Because we are trying to protect our Russians from Ukraine. That is just incorrect.
Unmuted.
Thank you so very much for your explanation from your side. But when we are seeing the situation, what has been happening in and around, it is very alarming. And there is a lot of compassion, means like emotional support that the world is giving it to Ukraine, because innocent lives always suffer no matter where the war starts from. We have been seeing it, and that is what everybody wanted to postpone. And I am just saying, because the talks which are happening across the table between Ukraine and Russia, because they had the two phases, they should just be concerned about Ukrainians, about Ukraine, Russia, about Russia. They should not have the third party, because whenever there is an influence, we know things will not be successful, and we have just seen it, what's happening. It is like, it should be about the president of Ukraine should think about the people of Ukraine, and so is the president of Russia, because we are still not out of the pandemic situation. World is just coming out, and this another war is where it is going to take us. I mean, wisdom should prevail on the leadership of both the countries. It is not about your leadership or their leadership, to be honest, because others are watching. They are just telling you guys, we are with you, we are with you. But when it is coming, they're giving you arms and ammunition, but you're not seeing anyone next to you. They are just watching it. Like, so that's not healthy. Because
That is the latest news. Just we find they're coming out. The U.S. has put a condition if the Russia just remove the military and the arm and from the ground of Ukraine, they can sit together and for the talks for the peace. How just you think, Pranav?
They're saying U.S. is saying for Russia to have their military leave from Ukraine.
Yeah.
And what is the U.S. going to do? Sorry, I didn't hear the end. And the US...
So U.S. just will talk around the table with Russia also. First, they will put the condition.
Sorry, U.S. Can you repeat it again, please? I just didn't
my question is just U.S. has put the condition before Russia first remove the military from the Ukrainian ground. Then we'll have to talk for the peace.
Yes, that is correct. But no, seeing what Putin is doing right now, Vladimir Putin is doing right now, I do not think that will happen. Because if they would be ready for talks and they would actually be ready for something, they would have done this much earlier.
Okay. That is already second round talks are going on and the Belarus border. And just also just Ukraine president ready to talk to Putin also. That is a good sign for just to end the war.
Yes, that is good. That is good.
Do you think so? This is good gesture.
I think that
because see what is going to happen again when we're talking about the talks, like they are saying they're on the second level of talk. Kumar Rakesh, you are also aware of it when the diplomatic talks happens. This is not going to happen just at the fraction of second, like you are just sitting across the table.
Time. You're right.
It takes
a
time, like you know,
right.
because otherwise this should have been before the 24th of February. What I'm just like, you know, because once the forces are on the ground, this has to satisfy both the sides of it, because they both have their own reasons when we're talking about it, because sanctions to Russia from all over, like every country is trying to put that, like because they are seeing it, and live and let others live also. That should also be means like in today's time, you know, we cannot afford to have wars. And my message to the Ukrainian president, because they have to use their own wisdom instead of depending on others. And this February 2022 episode is a lesson for the whole world that you have to be self-sufficient. not depending on others, to be very honest with. Means this is my take on it. Like, as the Prime Minister of India has been doing it, the Bharat, like bringing out, and they have actually proposed anybody wants to come out, we will help them out, because the situation is not very healthy. Because the people, those who are, Pranav, what happens, since you are there, you are talking to us very comfortably, but if your family outside, they're not with you, they get more in panic, like seeing the situation, so they want
Yes.
you. That's what is happening
It's
right now.
So, well, actually, Pranav is living in Ukraine with a family, and more than 26 years. He was born and brought in Kyiv, Ukraine. He is engineering student, Vandanaji.
I could
So,
understand with his accent, and I could understand with his last name that his Pranav Kumar means parents
yeah,
must have
that's
become
why.
Indian origin.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is basically son
Yes.
of the Indian father and mother, and so that's okay. That's one point. But he's so promising boy, and just all trying to keep on eye on all the situation in the Ukraine, and whatever. Just I think we hope just you whatever you can just support and help to the our student, the Bharatiya Indian student, that will be good for the both country. I think you also spread the masses. Bharat, India is always support to Ukraine. Already said the humanitarian support from the government of India, but the Modi government, as you know, as we know it, how Mr. Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi has just first leader in the world just to talk to Putin, just to maintain the peace from the two countries, and also talk to your President Zelensky. And I think hope for the best. The peace should be restored between the two brothers, either big brothers Russia and the younger is Ukraine, as we hope for the from the all side. How just USA also shown the gesture for the peace, not just supplying the arms or whatever. 2 days back it was going the message to the ground. So there's a nice gesture from the all over world for restore peace, either in the UNG, UNSC, and all. So nice, Pranav. Just you just connected with us, and just you just give that all inputs from Kyiv and Ukraine. I will also keep in touch for the latest one, and and sooner hope for the best and pray for the peace and prosperity, and just maintain, just restore the humanity in the ground of the not the for battleground, for the real ground of Ukraine as well as in Russia. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We pray for